Alright guys, part 2 of my After Effects course. Today we're just going to look at basic text in After Effects, so let's get into the video. Alright guys, Neil from Neil Collins Recording. Welcome to my channel if you're new, welcome back to my channel if you're not. Either way, appreciate you watching this video. So this is part 2 of my complete After Effects course. If you want to see part 1, then you can find it here, and there's also an intro video to the course as well, which I also suggest having a watch of before you go on to part 1 and this part today. So today we're still on the basics. We're going to take it nice and slow. In the last tutorial we just looked at some simple masking, and today we're just going to look at basic text in After Effects, just how you do text and the basic functions. Now as the course progresses we're going to do more advanced text animations, but we're not doing any of that today. It's important that we get the basics right first, so as we progress we all progress together and get to the same point at the same time. So let's jump into After Effects and have a look. Okay, so here we are in After Effects. First thing we're going to want to do is start a new composition. So click on create a new composition. Okay, and then we've got all these options. So for the sake of this text video, it doesn't really matter what sort of settings we use. We'll leave them as HD 1920 by 1080, but you can change all that here if you wanted to. And I'm going to leave the background color as black. Just going to change the composition name to text tutorial and click OK. Okay, and now we just have a basic black screen composition that we're going to use to layer our text on top of. So today we're going to be using some of these panels on the right hand side, mainly character and paragraph. So what you can do is click on holding that panel and drag it to the left and then let go, and as you can see it will move it to its own little panel closer to our composition, which is handy to have. So we'll do the same with paragraph. So we're just going to click, hold and drag, and now I've got character here and paragraph there. Now you can move them around so it's underneath or to the side. You can customize where you put your panels. I'm going to leave them like that, one above the other. So we've got the panels that we need for our text. First thing you're going to want to do with the character panel is click on these 3 lines at the top, go to the bottom and click reset character, because at the moment all of these settings may be a bit off depending on what you'd be doing before. So always go to the 3 lines and click to reset character, and that will reset it to the default. What this will probably do is reset it to a font size that's probably a bit too small, so I always change mine to 100. Now you can either type it in or you can choose from the drop down list, okay? But the drop down list will only go up to 72. So I'm going to choose 100, that's a good starting point for your text. Okay, and down in our paragraph section, I'm going to go to center text. So that'll be make sure the text is in the center. You can choose how you want your text in the paragraph section. You can have it off to the left, off to the right. But as a starting point, I'm grabbing my text right in the center. So now it's time to actually do some text. So first things first, we're going to go to our tool panel at the top left. And we're going to do horizontal typing today. But if you wanted to do vertical, if you hold down on the T, you get the option for horizontal or vertical. We're going to choose horizontal. Now you could click on your composition to start your text. If you want your text to start dead center, then the best way to do it is to double click on the T, and it will put the cursor in the dead center of your composition. So now we're ready to type. So let's just type text tutorial. So this font isn't really for me. So what I'm going to do, if you double click, it will just select the word that you're on. But if you double click again, it will select all of the text. Okay, and then you can change the font. So at the moment it's Times New Roman. Now I'm going to go for Lato. I'm going to go for Roboto. That's usually quite a good font. For the purpose of this, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. So we're going to go for Roboto, and that will change the text. And then you can change whether you want it regular, bold. You can make all those changes in your character panel. If you click on the text, it will unselect it, and we can write any text again. If you want to move the text around, what you'll see is if you're hovering over the text, you'll see the edit cursor. If you move out of the text, it will change to the arrow cursor, and then you can just click, left click, hold, and move the text around to where you want it. And then let go and it will just drop the text wherever you stop. So if you want to keep this text but carry on with a different line of text, then if you click Control and Enter or Command and Enter on a Mac, Control Enter on a PC, I believe. So click Control Enter and that will save that text, and then you can just click underneath and you can start a new line of text. So let's just write part 2, as this is part 2 of the course. Part 2. Okay, so we've kept the original text and now we've got the similar text line underneath. So now we've got our 2 rows of text, and now what you can see in the timeline, we've now got our 2 rows of text with separate layers on our timeline. So we've got our text tutorial layer here and our part 2 layer above that. Same as anything else, you can move these layers around on the timeline just by clicking and dragging. And as with any other composition layer, we can click on these arrows and now we've got options for keyframing. Okay, I'm not going to go into that today, but we have our keyframe options available now for each line of text. And if we double click on the top line of text, then we can make all our amendments. We can change the font, the size, etc. And then if you want to make changes to the other layer, then you click on your timeline. You can then select that text, make all the changes that you want to change in the character panel. And that's it for today's tutorial. Like I say, I'm going to keep it nice and basic so that we can all learn together as we go along. Now we know how to do basic text in After Effects. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial and found it useful. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below, let me know how you're getting on with the course so far. If it's too slow for you, if it's the right speed, just any feedback will be much appreciated, so do leave that below. If you're not already, please do consider subscribing to my channel, releasing content on a Monday and Thursday at the moment, audio and visual gear reviews, After Effects course, Premiere Pro tutorials, drone tutorials, all that sort of thing, so it'd be great to have some new faces on board. If you are already subscribed, as always, I do really appreciate you watching my videos. Please do make sure your notifications are turned on so I can let you know when new content is released. But that's it for part 2 of the After Effects course, and I'll see you in part 3.